Well, my clock says it's noon, which means it's 8 o'clock on Malta on time for the 9H-1 and 9H-HAM GlobalNet. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everybody. Net Control, I am now Net Control Station for this evening session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. I will give a pause for any emergency or priority traffic. QST, QST, QST. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station for this evening session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. The net meets every 2 weeks on Thursday at this time, and it's always nice to say hello to everybody who checks into the net. It is an informal net, but all calls need to go through net control while the net is going on. I'd like to thank everybody who has made this net possible, the organizers, the repeater trustees, and everybody else who's giving us a little space so that we can chit-chat on the machine. I like that. So I'll probably take check-ins in a minute. And when you check in, please give me your call sign phonetically and your name, although I know most of the names by now. And please give a 5 or 8 second pause between check-ins so that we can let the old man here behind the controls type or write, whichever comes first. All right, this is N7APW Net Control Station for this evening session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Let's take some check-ins.
Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. Checking in. The name is Anthony.
Right. I acknowledge 9H5FA. Good evening, Anthony. Any other check-ins for the net this evening? Come on, guys. I know you're out there.
9 Henry 1, France, Bravo, Sugar.
Nine Hotel 1 Sugar Fox. Hotel 1 Tango Lima Chris. This is
All right, let me tell you who I have right now, and I missed one for sure. 9H1FBS, 9H1SF, and 9H1 Tango Lima. There was another station checking in, but it seems like the repeater ID got you, and I couldn't quite make it out. So I'll pass it over to some more check-ins.
G33ZM, Golf 3 Tango, Zulu Mike.
Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. I have 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Mike France and 9 Hotel 1 Mike Delta Mario on Jitsi. They are listening. They might talk, but I'm not sure of their radio communication link at the moment. Back to you, Net Control. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Very, very good. I have Golf 3 Tango Zulu Mike. Good evening to you, Bill. 9 Hotel 5 Fox Mike and 9H1 Mike Delta, France and Mario. Are there any other check-ins at this time before I'll go for a short roundtable? All right, hearing nothing at this point in time, thank you everybody for checking in. Thanks for giving me a little latitude so I can slowly type everything in, but that's okay. It's a nice day. We've had a beautiful couple of days. Temperature was about 17, 18 degrees Celsius. For February and March, that's not too bad for Wyoming. The snow is all melted. There's no snow on the ground, so guess what? Tomorrow it gets to snow for a day and a half. And then it'll warm up again. I like that kind of winter. At least you don't have to be all cold and walking on treacherous ice, etc., etc. All righty, that's about it from here. The sun was shining, but it's disappeared. I honestly don't know why. But if I back too far away from this microphone, you won't be able to hear me. So we'll figure it out in a bit. Let me pass it over to you, Anthony. Good evening. Thank you for organizing everything for the 9H-HAM GlobalNet and all you do. And I hope everything is going well in your neck of the woods. 9 Hotel 5, Fox Alpha with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Net control, this is 9 Hotel 5 Fox Alpha. Thank you for being net control for so many times. Okay, so today, this session, net, is the 25th net in this series. So today we're celebrating the silver anniversary, if we had to do one of these once every year. So we're a quarter of the way down to having 100 net sessions. You might think that we've lost records of all the check-ins, which is not correct. I actually have a database of all check-ins of every single net since the first one. And I'm preparing this to go online, and I'll put a link up to it in the coming days. And I'll link it from the YouTube page for the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, and I'll also post links to it on the other local Facebook pages where we usually send out notifications. But I prepared a neat sheet with logins of every session we've had since the first one, and I'll be happy to make these available. And obviously it will be updated after every session. Back to you, net control. This is 9 Hotel 5 Fox Alpha.
Yeah, very good, Anthony. 9H5FA with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet at 7 APW. Very good indeed. That's excellent work. 25 already. All right. One silver bullet for all of us. Non-harmful. Can you give us an update on where COVID is? Not necessarily numbers, but mask wearing and the ability of people to socialize and the ability of the ham radio clubs to hold meetings and testing and all that nice stuff on the island. Anthony, go ahead.
Number 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. Perhaps Steve would be in the position to give you some more information on the local club situation, since he's much more involved than I am. 9H1 Sierra Fox. Perhaps I think it would be more informative than I would be on this topic. Meanwhile, seeing that we have 2 new people connected via Echolink, They may wish to check in. And we also have someone else on Jitsi who might wish to check in as well. Back to you, Net Control. This is 9 Hotel 5 Fox Hotel 5.
All righty, very good. 9H5FA with the with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. I'm getting my nets mixed up now. That's pretty bad. Old age, what can I say? It's a good excuse. This is S7APW returning. Okay, when I'll get around to Steve, maybe you can give us an update on that. I'd like to hear some information about the clubs and what they're doing, and any testing and any club meetings and stuff like that. That would be good. And I see two more people on Echolink, but I'll get down to some more check-ins in a bit. In the meantime, I'll pass it over to you, Charlie, 9 Hotel 1 Fox Bravo Sugar with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Yeah, just give me, ask the one after me and then come back to me because I've just unplugged my electricity here.
Oh, that's pretty magical. You must be on the laptop running on battery power. That's okay. All right, Charlie, I'll skip you. I'll get back around to you. Oh, Stephen. Good evening to you. You happen to be the next one on the net. Or on the list, I should say, 9H1 Sugar Fox. I hope everything is going well. November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Buonasera dall'Italia, buonasera. My name is Andrew. My name is Andrew, Milano, North Italy. Good evening.
Buonasera, Andrew, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. I'll check you in and give you a call in a few minutes. Got you logged in. Stephen, 9H1 Sugar Fox with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Yes, mister. Yes, mister. My name is Andrew. Italia Uniform 2, Delta Yankee, Italy. Good evening. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good evening. Thank you, my friend, thank you.
Ok, Andrea, 100%, grazie per il contatto, siamo sulla net. 9H1 Sugar Foxtrot with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey. I didn't hear Steve either, so 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. I hope you're having a good day today, Chris, and I'll pass it over to you, 9H1 Tango Lima with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet and 7APW.
This is 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima, Chris. Just a small notification. I'm the whereabouts of Ormi. There have been some electrical issues in the neighborhood. Since the repeater is not off-grid, that might pose some issues just in case things go off, I suppose. I've been looking up on YouTube Fox Hunt radios. It's something totally new to me. Basically, there will be a small transmitter, will be transmitting automatically, and the handheld receiver with a Yagi or something. You could look for the transmitter. It's a fun game for the ham community. I'm just wondering if anyone here has ever done it or has experience in such a thing. Over the net control.
Hotel 1 Tango Lima, November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, returning. I sure have. We even all the way back to the 80s, when I lived in Houston, Texas, we used to have fox hunts, and they were low-power transmitters situated in very odd areas, and then people would triangulate with their four-element beam antennas and try to find them. And it is enjoyable. You learn a lot. You really learn a lot. And it is, like I said, a lot of fun. And our club that I used to belong to was a pretty big club, but there were always at least 15, 20 people in teams of 3 or 4 looking for these transmitters all around Houston, Texas. And some of them were in high-rise buildings and parking garages on the 17th floor and underground, and it was a lot of fun. Let's see if anybody else has done some transmitter fox hunting. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, standing by. I didn't hear anything else, but Chris, if you feel like talking about it later on after the net, I'll be more than happy to do that. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening's session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Let me take some more check-ins if there are any. And 7APW standing by.
9H-1FBS recheck, got everything sorted out.
Charlie, let's pass it over to you to see what you have to say. NH1FBS and the net and 7APW.
Yeah, well, not much. You know, the weather. I hope that my clock doesn't interfere, because sometimes, you know, it's not too far away. It goes ding dong, you know. Anyway, very happy to make this net this evening. Nice to see, shall we say, old faces like Bill. I think you're younger than I am, actually, Bill, so. Well, you know what I mean. And Steve and Anthony and Chris is a very regular contributor here. And we hope to get some more. But we'll see about that. It did drizzle a bit. I was actually going to the grocery store, and I said, "Oh, it's a good thing I brought my cap." I have a rather impervious cap. It's like synthetic something or other. I don't vouch to say. But anyway, it's something that rain doesn't, but it wasn't raining, it was just drizzling. And I was rubbing my hands together because I have a few pot plants here, and they get very good nourishment from the rain, much better than the tap water, which I usually give them. So, back to you. Hope your snow will not come. But anyway, we are in winter. We had it was, by our standards, very cold yesterday. I had a warm beverage before I went to bed, and that seemed to do the trick. And 7APW, 9H-HAM GlobalNet, 9H1FBS.
H1FBS and 7APW. I'm sure you meant potted plants, not pot plants, but that's okay. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Bill, he says you have an old face. I don't know how he determined that, but I'll leave that between you and him. It's nice to hear you on. I hope Margaret is doing better. And I'll pass it back to you. Golf 3, Tango Zulu Mike with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Yeah, Roger, then 7APW and the net from G3TZM. Yes, good evening, everybody. And yes, I don't care if he calls me old. In about 5 weeks, just under 5 weeks, I'll be 77. So probably a little bit older than he is. So I don't mind him calling me old, because I am. Yeah, Margaret's doing fine, thanks. We had a walk round the block today from the house. It's probably about, I don't know, just over a quarter of a mile, something like that. So, yeah, she's doing okay. Had the staples out from the operation yesterday, and everything's looking good, so looking all right. A little piece of news. I wonder if everybody knows that next weekend, the 12th and 13th of March, is the Commonwealth Contest, the Radio Society of Great Britain Commonwealth Contest, and one of the participating countries is Malta. Malta is a participating country, so I shall certainly be looking out for them. I'll be having a go. It's on CW, and it's from 10 o'clock on Saturday the 12th of March until 10 o'clock in the morning GMT on the Sunday the 13th of March. So it's only a 24-hour contest instead of the whole weekend. There is a minor rule change this year that on 80 metres, 3510 and below are for international only and not for the contest. So the contest on 80 metres will only run from 3510 upwards in the CW portion of the band. So that's the news this end. Back to you, Jerry. N7APW from G3TZM, also 9H1BX when I'm in Malta.
Very good, Bill. Thank you for the update, and thank you for that news. Does anybody have any questions or queries for Bill at this time?
This is 9 Hotel 5 Fox Hotel 5. Let's short feedback on the news that Bill just gave at the moment.
Go ahead, please.
Thanks a lot, Bill, for that info. And I've just now looked up the RSGB website, and there is a page full of detailed information with the conditions and the dates and times, and which I think our other listeners would be interested in. So it's on the RS Radio Society of Great Britain page, and it's extremely prominent. I mean, the contest page is extremely prominent as soon as you log into the page. Back to you, Net Control. This is 9 Hotel 5 Fox Hotel 5. Thank you very much, Bill. Thanks for the info. Because this is something which I don't frequently do, actually, and I'm interested in. So, thanks a lot. Back to you, Net Control.
Okay, very good. Any other comments or questions on 7APW? Hearing none, let's see if Franz has anything to add, or whether he'd like to say hello to everybody. 9 Hotel 5 Fox Mike with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey. This is 9 Hotel 1 Sugar Fox. Good evening to you, Jerry. Good evening to Bill, and good evening to everyone else that is listening on the repeater. I just wanted to let you know that Francis is on Jitsi there with us, but he is not feeling well tonight. So you have to excuse himself for not talking as much as he would do as normal there, Jerry. So, but I would like to say thank you once again for this evening, and also greetings to everyone this evening on the net, and Francis sends his regard also. So I'll pass the microphone back to you, and greetings, Bill, to Margaret also from us, okay? November 7, Alpha, Papa, Whiskey, 9, Hotel 1, Sugar Fox.
Stephen, thank you. 9H-1SF with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet and 7APW. Chris, I hope you feel better soon. Mario, it's nice to know that you're there and listening. And Steve, before you go, we were talking a bit earlier in the net about the clubs, their activities, and whether they're holding meetings. And Anthony said you may have some more updated information on that. So if you do, the microphone back to you. November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Okay, Jerry, can you give me the last bit of the question again? What would you like to know, please? Because I had a telephone call.
Talking earlier on the net about COVID-19 and the lifting of restrictions and how the clubs, or whether the clubs are holding meetings and training and activities. And Anthony said that you may have some information about that. And so if you do and you'd like to share it with the net, it would be appreciated. 9H1SF and 7APW.
Okay, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey from 9 Hotel 1 Sugar Fox returning, and also with the group here on Jitsi that I can see in front of me. Yeah, well, the restrictions, the COVID restrictions have lifted now, most of them anyway, but you still have to be, careful in that. The numbers are going down. The numbers are going down, but today the numbers went up. So from, cases, about 70 cases or whatever, it went over to 120 something or whatever today, they found. So yes, you still have to be careful, Jerry. We've started to meet a bit now at the club, on the regular days, the Tuesdays, the Thursday, and the Saturday mornings, when we can do, obviously, depending on if we have any, hospital appointments with Philip there, 9 Hotel 5 Hotel Papa, when, taking him to his hospital appointments or doctor's appointments or whatever. So, we have to also be on standby for him also. So, as he's not driving at the moment yet. So it's Francis or myself and another friend of ours that takes him out and about and to his hospital appointments and that. So yes, we've started to meet up. We're trying to meet up regularly when we can do. Depending always, on what we have, and if nothing else happens. Also the weather, Also the weather, because when it's cold, Jerry. And up in Untarfa, it gets cold. Especially like today, it was cold. It was cold indoors and it was cold outdoors. Even sitting out in the sun, it was being cold. So it was cold today, Jerry, here on the island. So, but yeah, we're meeting up. We're doing work on the tower. The tower is back up now. We're just, preparing the antennas to go back up. We've got the 11 element for 2 meters to go back on top of the tower. The 6 element the 5 element for 6 meters that we've got donated to the club also from one of the local ham operators. 9 Hotel 1 Golf Papa gave us a 5 element for 6 meters, which we're going to restore and clean it up and put that up on the tower. And then we've got the 7 element beam to go underneath it there. So we're quite busy. If we've got nothing else to do, we've got plenty to do. So hopefully in the coming weeks we'll start putting the antennas up slowly there, step by step, obviously, because there's a lot of work to be done on the antennas there. So making that right also. So that's all about it, Jerry. At the moment, we're taking it day by day, like I said. And yes, the COVID restrictions are going down. They've restricted them and they've become, they're taking some off now. So hopefully things will get a bit back to normal. We hope anyway. If nothing else happens, if we're still on this earth anyway, if we don't get blown up. So November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, 9 Hotel 1 Sugar Fox.
Yeah, very good, Stephen. Thank you for that. 9 Hotel 1 Sugar Fox. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station for this evening session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Thank you for that. Hopefully things will keep going the way they are with COVID, and hopefully we'll get a bit more out than we have been. It's been a while for me. And I know all about the cold. In fact, we had some beautiful days, but it's going to snow tomorrow again. But, then again, I don't live in the tropics either. No drink with an umbrella and suntan lotion and all that nice stuff. But it sounds good. Let's go on to the next. I see you over there, Charlie, WB4 Papa Victor Tango. And there's another station as well on Echolink, Dennis. But I'll get around to you guys in just a moment. Do you have anything for the net this evening, Charlie? WB4 PVT with the 9H-HAM Global Net, November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey.
This is W4PVT, just still filling out forms for the travel to Malta. And, oh boy, it's fun. Some of the questions I don't really understand what they're asking. But anyway, you were asking about the fox hunt. Local club here did a fox hunt years ago, and I was the one they were looking for. And I parked under a bridge, and the directional finders they had couldn't tell front from back. So the guy had on his directional finder straight ahead, which it was, he would pass over me, and then the directional finder would just keep pointing in the same direction because he didn't have a front to back. And he had one devil of a time finding me. We eventually had to tell him where I was. He kept passing over the bridge and missing me each time. You asked about the club meetings in Malta, the club meetings here. We had our second club meeting this month in person, and this time we had the president because he had a mild case of COVID, so he wasn't able to attend the last meeting. But we had our meeting and everything went fine, nothing exciting going on. So this is W4PVT, anxiously waiting arrival to Malta. Over.
Okay, very good, Charlie. Yeah, I used to be the fox, and not only would I put the transmitter in the trunk of my car, but one time I decided in my infinite wisdom to go downtown in Houston and go 7 levels below ground level in a garage and just sit there. But some of these guys had preamps and 11-element beams, and they found me in I'd say about 15 minutes of circling downtown. So that was pretty good too. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a good exercise, and you learn a lot from it too. Let's see, this is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station for this evening's session of the 9H-HAM Global Net. Are there any other check-ins?
This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. Just to tell you, Net Control, that we also have Jonathan, who's on GTC at the moment. He's listening, but he's not transmitting yet. Although if he wishes to transmit on board, my call sign is very free to do so. But I'm not sure exactly about his ability to transmit at the moment. So he's waved to everyone and and says hi to everyone. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Well, tell Jonathan I'm shaving. I'm waving back. Any other checkers for the net this evening? Okay, hearing none. Is there anything else for the net this evening before we wrap the net up? And I'd like to remind everybody that this net meets every 2 weeks on Thursday at 8 o'clock Malta time or European time, which is, I think it's 1900. Is it 1900 Zulu? Somebody's going to shoot me on that one. I think it is, though. Anyway, it's every 2 weeks on Thursday at 1900 Zulu. I think that's right. If not, somebody correct me. And this is N7APW waiting for any other traffic for the net before we wrap it up.
November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. Yes, it is 1900 Zulu. You do see. There's also someone else on Echo Link. I'm not sure if he wishes to check in. It's Kilo Yankee 4 Delta Zulu. Wondering if you'd like to check in and perhaps say something. Back to you, net control. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
This is Kilo Yankee 4DZ. I've been listening off and on for the last few weeks, just seeing what you all were about. Wish everybody well. KY4DZ, back to net.
Okay, Dennis, nice to hear you. Kilo Yankee 4 Delta Zulu, November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. It's an informal net. People who come and say hello to each other. Most are friends. Most know each other personally. I personally lived on Malta for 17 years and know, I'd say about a half of the hams on the island. And obviously, I've just about talked to everybody here, being net control. And you're welcome to join the net. It's every other Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And like I said, you're very welcome to join in, and thank you for saying hello. Anything else for the net this evening before I close the net?
This is W4PVT.
Yes, with a question.
Hotel 1 Sugar Fox, also something for Charlie the 9 Whiskey 4 PVT. I've got some information for him also. So microphone back to you, net controller.
Good. We'll let you go first, Charlie. WB4 PVT with the net at 7APW.
Okay, appreciate it. K104DZ, Dennis, this is W4PVT. I'm in Newport News. I see you're in Williamsburg, so we're just a few miles apart. If you like, you can give me a call and or email me, and I can tell you a little bit about Malta. I lived there for a year, and I'm getting ready to make a trip there the end of this month on the I believe the 21st. My daughter and I are going to be traveling there. This will be my third trip. I just wanted to pass that on to you, and I'd like to hook up with you if you're interested in Malta. This is W4PVT.
Comment?
Go ahead.
This is KY4DZ. Thank you very much for the invitation. I probably will get in contact with you. My wife and I visited Malta via a cruise a couple of years ago now, I guess, and then we really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, the days we were there was really rainy, but we still enjoyed it and plan on going back sometime, maybe for our 50th anniversary this September or somewhere in that time frame. But my wife had always wanted to go to Malta, and she finally got there. We loved it, and since then, looking at the history and all. There's a lot of it I realize that I haven't seen yet that I'd still like to experience. So thanks for the invite. I'll probably be contacting you. KY4DZ, back to net.
Okay, very good, Dennis. I had fun when I was there. I lived there for about 17 years. Haven't been back for a very, very long time. And we shall see what life sends our way. Stephen, you had something for Charlie. 9H-1 Sugar Foxtrot, November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey.
November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey 901 Sugar Fox. Returning. Okay, WB4 PVT 901 Sugar Fox. Charlie, I sent you another email. Another email from what we spoke about last time. So when you get a chance, you'll find another email from myself. Okay? That's all I need to tell you. Good evening to everybody, and hope we hear each other again in another 2 weeks' time on the net. November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey 9 Hotel 1 Sugar Fox.
Waiting for the repeater to ID. 9H1SF. Charlie, any comments or anything else?
I appreciate the info, and I'll check my email and see what you got there. Let me see. The only other thing, Dennis, I'm on the 2-3 repeater, Newport News, of when I'm out driving around. So, and Stephen, I appreciate the info, and hopefully we'll have a eyeball there. I see you're up in Malia, and that's one of the places I really wanted to stay. I wanted to stay at that new hotel they just built, but the buses take, it was an hour and a half to get to Valletta, so we selected to stay in Salima, which I'm not really that happy with, but you take what you can get. This is W4 PBT clear, and hopefully next time I'll be on the repeater there.
Oh, wonderful. I have a question for you, guys. Isn't there an express bus from, but maybe that doesn't stop. I thought there was an express bus to Valletta from the ferry. Does that stop, or is it just express and doesn't stop anywhere? I'm curious now. I'm not asking the question right. All right, we'll let that go. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening's session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Any other traffic or any other check-ins for the net this evening?
From G3TZM about the buses.
Okay, Bill. Help.
Yeah, from G3TZM. The best place to find out about the buses is the website of Malta Public Transport. Malta Public Transport. It has all the routes on there and about the tickets and everything else, because we have the Anziani, the tickets. We have our own bus passes for Anziani, so we're okay with that. We don't have to pay or anything, but you can buy cards. You can buy travel cards. I forget what they are now. You can buy holiday ones, weekly ones. I don't know. There's all sorts. So it's worth looking on there to find the latest information. But we use the buses a lot in Malta. I haven't used a car for a number of years, and that was only because it was only when somebody came we had to use a car to go somewhere, which didn't have a bus service. So that's what I can tell you at the moment. G3TZM over.
Yeah, very good, Bill. G3TZM and 7APW. Thanks for that information. Well, I don't drive anymore, but even if I did, I don't think I could drive on Malta anymore. I used to, but then when I drove on Malta, there were only about 40,000 cars. That's a far cry from the number of cars that are there today. And while the roads are wider, it's still the same sized island. So and probably most of the roads that I remember still exist, but they're now side roads and not major thoroughfares. So I'd probably get lost. So I'll leave the driving to somebody else. I think that's the smartest way for me to do. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey Net Control Station for this evening session of the 9H-HAM Global Net. Anything else for the net before we close the net?
November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey. Some additional information on the multi-public transport. For
Fire away.
November 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. Besides the very useful information provided now, and the multi-public transport website is the site where to find all the information, there is also an app, and that's available both for Android or for iOS, which you can download. And there's all the maps and all the routes, and you can select the bus stop, and you know when the next bus is coming, and it's actually tracked in real time. The name of this app, I'm going to spell this out because it's a Maltese name, which might not be very easy for non-Maltese speaking individuals, but in Maltese it's pronounced Tallinia. I'm going to spell it out. It's Tango, Alpha, Lima, India, November, Juliet, Alpha. So in English it would probably be pronounced Talinja. But in Maltese the English J has a Y sound. So it's Tallinia. The Tango, Alpha, Lima, India, November, Juliet, Alpha. And that exists for both iOS and Android. And it contains more or less the same information which is available on the website. Back to you, Net Control. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Okay, very good. 9H5FA and 7APW. So I still have a question. My question is this: they have express buses like X1 and X2, etc. How express are they? Because it's kind of baffled me over the last few years. Do they start from Valletta and go, let's say, over to Chirkawa, which is the ferry landing, and not stop anywhere, or do they still stop in towns and villages? Are they really a time saver over a local bus that goes through towns and villages? That was my question. And I was wondering, because Charlie said, it takes an hour and a half to get from Valletta to Melilla. And I wonder if an express bus would help something like that out or not. Just curious. 9H anybody, and 7APW Net Control.
This is W4PVT.
Charlie?
I have the app on my phone. That's one of the first things I did, and at the airport when I arrive, we're going to get the week or 2 week bus pass and get that taken care of. The local buses, they come by about every, 10 or 15 minutes, but I think the express bus, they don't come by as often. And of course, you get there quicker, but I don't know. It's going to be some scouting going on this trip, quite a bit about another trip to Malta, where to stay, and check out some of the other hotels that we didn't stay at. But Salima was, I guess, a nice location. It's just I prefer the old Malta versus the new Malta that looks more like Las Vegas, Nevada. There's W4PVT.
TZM, I might be able to help.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, from G3TZM. Just very quickly on the buses, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 6 express bus routes: X1, X1A, X1B, and so on. The idea was that they were originally express buses to and from the airport. If you look on the Malta Public Transport site under timetables, it's got the airport routes on there. The X1 is from Chirkewa, from the ferry to the airport, and that goes via Birkirkara. Then there's X1A and X1B. The X1A goes down to Hal Safini, but the X1B also goes from Chirkewa direct to the airport. I'm not sure what the difference is between them. The X2 is just around from the airport to Slima and Birkirkara, or Slima and Msida. The X3 is from the airport to St. Paul's Bay and Bujuba. The X4 goes from the airport, from Valletta to the airport and down to Birzabuja. So they're all mixed up, and they are what they call limited stop. And the arrangement was originally that they would only stop at sort of important stops originally when the bus service started. They were going to stop at major towns and major stops only. And of course, people got on it thinking it was going to where they wanted to go. And of course, when it went past their bus stop, they all started screaming and shouting and wanting the bus to stop and all the rest of it, because nobody realised, or they didn't take notice that the X means limited stop, or not stopping very much. As far as hotels go, I have stayed in many hotels in Malta over the years, and also with family. In fact, the first time I visited Malta was in 1950 when I was 5 years old, and stayed at my grandmother's in Floriana. And then in 1966, the same, for my 21st birthday. But when we got married in 1970, in 1971, our first trip out, we stayed in hotels, and we stayed in hotels and self-catering ever since. Basically, apart from 1 week in my aunt's apartment in Floriana. But we stayed in the Excelsior Hotel at just in Floriana, and that's very good. We've stayed in a few in Slima as well, but they're all very good, basically very good. It's just choosing the right one that suits you. From G3TZM.
Excellent information. G3TZM and 7APW returning. Very good indeed. Any questions, comments, or anything else for the net?
Yeah, well, I've tried a couple of times. Tried the third time.
Oh, third time lucky, Charlie. 9H1FBS with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet and 7APW.
Okay, I note that the United States and Canada are going on to daylight saving, shall we say, I think next week. And Malta is going on daylight saving on the, I believe, 27th. 3, 4, 5, yeah, something like that. Anyway, you know, the last weekend of this month. Are we going to keep the Malta time? So that will be, you know, instead of 1900 Zulu, it will be 1800 Zulu. And some APW and 9H1FBS.
I'll get this confirmed, Charlie, Anthony, or Steve, but I think we had decided that it would always be at 8 p.m. Is that correct?
No, 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. That is my understanding, that we had decided to keep the 8 p.m. Malta local time. However, this is inconvenient because due to daylight savings time changes. We might have a discussion about it and see what general consensus is. I don't know. What did the others think? Back to you, Net Control.
There we go. And let's see. Anybody have any issues with the time of the net moving with daylight savings time? Here in the U.S., daylight savings time will change on the 13th of March. And Malta will change 2 weeks after that, according to Charlie FBS, on the 27th of March. So, does anybody have any issues with the net staying at 8 p.m. local Central European time or Malta time? Or would they rather it moved?
G32 to them.
Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, from G3TZM, yes. British summertime or daylight saving also starts in the UK on Sunday the 27th of March. Sunday the 27th of March. And I've got no problem with staying at 8 o'clock Malta time, over.
Sugar Fox from November 7 on Papa. We have no problem with the time of 8 p.m. in the evening. From our side, I think it shouldn't be a problem there. Back to you, Jerry. November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, 901 Sugar Fox.
Yeah, you take your HT to the beach. I like that idea. Anybody else with any feedback?
Number 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, this is 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. I honestly, it's okay for me. As long as it's in the evening local time, I will definitely make it every 2 weeks. Over.
This is WB4 PVT.
My big bang. Bye. I mean, 7 ministries to all. Back to you, Net Control.
Well, we heard about your Big Ben, and that was it, Charlie. Charlie, WB4 PVT and 7APW. Go ahead.
My comment is it's a Maltese net. Let the Maltese decide when it will be, and we'll work whatever they decide on. WB4 PVT clear.
Well, the consensus seems to be that let's leave it at 8 p.m. local time, local Malta time. So whenever whenever the summertime starts or daylight savings time, and the net will still be at the local time. And so the next net, well, we don't have to say anything really. The net just meets at 8 p.m. Malta time, whether it's summertime or not. And I think that's pretty straightforward and simple. And 7 APW standing by for any comments. Agree? Anything else for the net? Any other check-ins? Boy, right on the money. 1 whole hour of the net. That's wonderful. Hearing nothing else, I'd like to thank everybody for checking into the net. We had a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 check-ins. Thank you, everybody, for checking in. I'd like to invite you to check in again 2 weeks from today at 8 p.m. Malta time. It will be an hour. It will be a difference for us in the U.S. because we're changing to summertime on the 13th, but not for anybody else. And we'll make that adjustment, and I hopefully won't forget. In the meantime, thank you to everybody. Thank you to repeater trustees. Thanks for the other hams who stood by while we were using the repeater. And I'd like to wish everybody a very good evening and invite you to tune again in 2 weeks. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station for the 9H-HAM Global Net. Wishing everybody 73s, good day, and keep smiling.
From G3TZM. Okay, Jerry, thank you very much indeed for running the net yet again. And Stephen, if you're listening, please pass on our best wishes to Philip. Long time no see, no hear. So I hope that he makes out okay, that he's recovering well after all he's been through. So 73, everybody. Leila Tayeb, Kulhat. ونراكم اكتاتارت from G3TZM. صحاك الله.
Nine Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. Thanks a lot, Jerry, for running the net, and thanks to everyone for participating. And we'll meet again. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, 9 Hotel 1 Sugar Fox. Thank you, Jerry, for running the net tonight. And okay there, Bill, I will pass on your regards to him. You know, it's old age as well. He's 76 now, so what he's gone through as well, it took a hard beating on him as well. So, you know, we're just trying to keep him happy and be there when he needs something, so that's about it. Okay, Bill, 73s, regards to Margaret there from all of us here on the island, and hopefully we'll speak soon, maybe another 2 weeks' time there, one of the 4. So, microphone back to you, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey. Good evening, good night from our side, and thanks once again.
I think he's gone. Yeah, from G3TZM. Okay, Steve, thanks very much for that. And to Graziella as well. We hope to see you sometime this year when Margaret gets permission to fly again. We'll do that. And one of the amateurs who is a captain with Air Malta retired on the 28th of February after many years, after 30 years of flying for Air Malta. And we've flown with him a few times as well. Excellent fellow. I can't remember. I think it's is it 9H-1 Juliet Mike? I can't remember. Joseph Markham, anyway. Excellent fellow. Saha, Steve, see you later. 9H-1SF and QSO G3TZM click.
on my mobile, please.